If you've been watching, I'm in the Bible story by author Maxwell, and this is volume 1. I got all 10. It's my husband's grandmother's, uh, well, my husband's mama's stuff. Okay, now we're at part 4, story 6, Children Like the Stars. It's also my daughter's, but I digress. Okay, part 4, story 6, Children Like the Stars. As years after years went by, Abraham began to wonder just what God had in mind for him. He had left Ur of the Chaldeans as he had been told. Now he was in the land of Canaan, had been there a long time. Now, what's next? He remembered how God said to him, I will make thy seed as the dust of the earth, so that if a man can number the dust of the earth, then shall thy seed also be numbered. What did God mean by children? Like the dust, when still he had no children. True, he had lots of servants, and he had many children, and he had thousands of animals, and he kept increasing every few months. He was getting richer and richer in gold and goods, but what but was this what God meant? One day God said to him, Fear not, Abram, I am thy shield and thy exceeding great reward. It would it was the most beautiful yeah, it was the most beautiful promise, but it did not answer the question that had been growing in his mind. Lord God, he said, what wilt thou give me, seeing I go childless, and the servant of my house is the Elzadar, Elzer, Elzer of Damascus, Eli, Eleazar of Damascus, Eliezer, yeah. By this, By this, Abraham meant that, seeing that he had no son of his own, all his property would go at his death to his head servant or overseer. It showed how low he was feeling at the moment. God answered sounded almost indigent. Indignant. Indigent. This shall not be thine heir. Not Eleazar, not this man from Damascus? Then who? Asked Abraham. Your own child, said God. In it was night. It was night, and God led him out into the darkness and said, Now, how now look toward heaven, and tell the stars, if thou be able to number them, so shall thy seed be. And Abraham looked, and above him he saw all the myriad twinkling pinpoints in the sky, every one of the flaming sun, every one of a flaming sun in a far distance of God's infinite universe. Perhaps he started to count them, then realized he could never do it, not if he could count all night. not if he counted for the rest of his life. Children like the stars, thousands upon thousands of children, how can that be? How could he ever have that many children when he still had no child of his own? It seemed impossible. And then, of course, it has an illustration on this page. That's what it looks like. There's the stars up here at the top and everything. And now that I'm reading this, I thought of something of a TV show that I was watching. And this thing turned the stars backwards. You've probably seen the the superhero movie, but that's what I thought about. Okay, let's get back to the story. Even so, he believed in God, in the Lord, and the Lord said, counted it to him for righteousness. Then God said, I am the Lord that brought thee out of Ur of Chaldeans to give thee this land to inherit it. How shall I know, said Abraham, longing for some strange evidence that this would really happen. Then it was that God gave him a sign to put his old heart to rest. He told him to take a heifer, a she-goat, a ram, a dove, a pigeon, and divide them. Having done so, he fell into a deep sleep. And lo, in honor of the great darkness fell upon him. Okay, King James Version, that he fell asleep. Presently he heard the voice of God telling him about things to happen in the future. How he would surely have children, no matter what trials they might pass through. God would watch over them always and at least fulfill every promise he had made concerning them. And it came to pass that when the sun went down and it was dark, behold, the smoking furnace and a burning lamp that passed between those pieces. A great darkness, then a light. And what was this light? A smoking furnace, a burning lamp. Oh, wonder of wonders! Could this symbol be be the presence of God, to be also the symbol of a star? Could it be that God was trying to tell his faithful servant that while at last his children should be numerous as the stars in heaven, one of them was even now very close to coming sooner than he had dreamed. And then it has an illustration of the bottom of Abraham asleep. There it is. And that's the end of part 4, story 6. And now we get ready for the next story. Okay? Give me a bit.